Hello students, the next topic we have is the HTML semantic elements. Some elements which will help in the proper structuring of a document or a web page. Under that, we'll be studying these two elements that are header and footer, the header element and the footer element. Most website pages have a recognizable header and footer section. Typically, the header contains the site logo, a small image of that particular site, then title and perhaps additional subtitles or taglines, and horizontal navigation links. Navigation links, they are the links which will help you to move to different pages of that same website. That means you can go to the home page or about us page or contact us page. On the same site itself, you can move to different pages of that particular website. Those links are known as navigation link. Okay, and perhaps one or two horizontal banners, that website of what you have created, of that banners also it will be there. So these are the things which will be contained in the header. Okay, so this is a header element, not a head element, it is a header element, and it consists of a logo, title, navigation links, and one or two horizontal banners. The footer, next they have told what all a footer contains, that is the end of the web page. Okay, at the below end what you will be having, that also contains less important material such as smaller text version of the navigation. So in the header you will be having a broader text of the navigation links. At the footer you will have a smaller text version of the navigation. Then we'll have the copyright notices, then information about the site's privacy policy, and perhaps Twitter feeds or link to other social sites. If that web page has a link to their Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, then those link also you can provide it as the footer. Okay, so footer will consist of small text of navigation, copyright notices of that particular website to say that it is a legal website, information about the site's privacy policy, perhaps Twitter feeds or link to other social sites. Okay. Header and footer. Both the HTML5 header and footer element can be used not only for page headers and footers, they can also be used for header and footer elements within other HTML5 containers, such as article or section. Okay, so what they're saying here is the header and footer element need not be the main header and footers of that web page. They can also be nested in some other elements also. And here we are going through some new elements here, that is the article and the section. These article and section will be seeing them in more detail in the next concept. So this header and footer, you can also embed them in the article and the section element. Okay, so header and footer need not be the main elements also, they can be nested in other HTML elements also. Okay, so here is an example. You have a header here, header is there. In that header you have a logo by using img element and by using the attribute src, and here we have given a logo, and if this logo is not visible then you can go for alternative text, it will display as logo. So here you have a header h1, fundamentals of web development, then the closing tag of header, and next you can see here this is an article element. Article element is an independent part in that document. Okay, it is part of that web page, but a separate column, column in that particular document. It is a independent section. Okay, so that is known as an article, and inside that article you are using a header, and in that header you are making use of h2. The text is there, then you have a p element, then you have emphasis element, then p element, time, and everything has been given here. Okay, so we'll try this out, we'll try this program, we'll just copy it. Okay, take a notepad, control v. Okay, I'll just save this program, save 1.html. Then we'll go to the desktop. Okay, 1. You can see here logo alternate text has come there because I have not chosen any logo from my computer, so the image is not visible and the alternative text logo is there. Okay, and this is the header here, fundamentals of web development, and inside this is a separate article here. Okay, this is a separate article and the article's heading is this, and this is the paragraph, and this is nothing but the time here. Okay, so this is also header, this is also header, you can have a logo there, and this is separately a article in that particular document. Okay, so that was the output of the small code. The next we have here is the heading groups. Heading groups is indicated by the element H group, and this element is used for grouping of headings. Okay, grouping of H1 elements. Okay, so the name only indicates that it groups headers here. The H group element can be used to group related headings together within one container. Okay, so related headings together within one container, and here is an example of the code. You have here header, and inside that you have here H group element, and then you have inside H group you have two headings here, H1 and H2. In H1 you have written chapter 2 HTML1, and H2 you have written an introduction. So this H group opening and closing tag, and it has embedded two headings here. Then you close the header, and then you have started an article element. Inside the article element you have used another H group. So H group can be embedded within other HTML elements also, and in this H group you have embedded two headings here, H2 and H3, and then you have closed the H group tag and you have closed the article tab. So this is nothing but H group is used for grouping of related headings. So let's take this code, Control C, Control N, Control V. Okay, so header is there, H group, H1, H2, closing of H group, then closing of the header, and inside the article also you're making use of H group, and in that you have H2, H3, and then you have closed the article. Okay, Control S, 2.html. Okay, save, go back to the folder, 2 is here. Okay, so these are nothing but these are grouping of headings here. You can see all are headings. This is one H group and this is another H group. Okay, so this is how you make use of the H group element. The next you have here is the navigation indicated by the nav element. Okay, nav element. As I told in the first slide itself, that navigations consist of links in a website, and those links will help you to go to different web pages of that particular website. Okay, home page, department page, contact page, okay, and faculties page or result page, different pages link you can give through this nav. Okay, so the nav element represents a section of a page that contains links to other pages or to other parts within the same page. Okay, it will not only contain link to other pages but also to other parts within the same page. That means within the same page, if you want to go to a particular logo, or you want to go to a particular header or a footer in that same page, so that also navigation is allowed by using which element here, nav element. Like the other new HTML5 semantic elements, the browser does not apply any special presentation to the nav element. Okay, there is no special presentation to the nav element here. It is as simple as possible. Then the nav element was intended to be used for major navigation blocks, presumably the global and secondary navigation systems. Okay, for global way they have made use of the navigation blocks, but global example will be not making use here. We'll be making use of normal links which we can use in a web page. Okay, this is again back to headings, just a sec. Okay, An example of navigation is here. Here we have a header, and inside this header we have the image element. Then the src is there. Src is used to provide the image name or the image path source attribute. And then if that image is not visible, then you can make use of an alt attribute. If this image is not visible, then the logo text will be visible. Then h1 is there, fundamentals of web development. And here you are making use of nav, and along with nav you are making use of the attribute role. This role attribute just mentions as to what this element does, what is the role of that element. So for that value, attributes value, here it will be just as to what it does. So nav is used for navigation. That means it will help you to move on to different pages of a particular website. Okay. Then you are making use of ul here. Ul is used for listing here. Okay, unordered list it is. And then you have the li is used for listing, so these will appear in terms of bullets. And inside that this li element, you have the a element. A is anchor tag, which will help you to have links there. Okay, then you have the h reference attribute. H reference attribute is there, and inside this you are giving a web page here, and that web page here is index.html, separate html page you are giving there. And the name for that link, you are saying it as home. So home here will appear as a link, and when you click on that link, you will be going to a separate page known as index.html. Again, in that home page, again what all will be there, that you can view in this index.html. Then you close the anchor tag, and then you close the list tag. Next, second is about.html. That means here about s will appear as a link. When you click on the link, you have to go to the page about.html. Then you have the browse, which will go to a different web page known as browse.html. Then you close the nav element, and then you close the header element. We'll try out this program. Okay, Control N. Okay, Control S, 4.html. Okay, 4.html. When you run it, yes, logo text is there. Then you have fundamentals of web development. In this fundamentals of web development, three links are there: home link, about us, and then browse. So home will take us to the home page, about us will take us to the about us page, and browse will take us to the browse page. Okay, so these will take us to different pages of the same website. So navigation is used for navigating from one page to another page. The next you have is the articles and section element here. Article element and section element. So the article element represents a section of content that forms an independent part of a document or site. For example, a magazine or newspaper article or a blog entry. Okay, article means it will be there in that page, but it will form a separate section of itself, independent section of itself. Like for example, in a newspaper, you will have different articles related to different news. Okay, same way article also will be in that same web page, but it will be have formed its independent path there. Okay, independent position there. Okay, whereas the section element represents just a section of a document. It is just a section of a document, typically with the heading or a title. It belongs to that document, and the document section only it is. Okay, it does not form any independent part in that web page. It will be a part of the document only, but it will be having its own title, its own heading, then followed by a set of paragraphs. According to the W3C, section is a much broader element, while the article element is to be used for blocks of content that would potentially be read or consumed independently of the other content on the page. Okay, so section is part of the document and it is a broader element, whereas an article is a smaller section or smaller part which will be independent of the other content. Sections versus divs. Okay, divs we had used for divisions, So they are same, somewhat you can say that section is same to divs also. Okay, they form different parts in the same web page. So what is the difference between the sections and divs? They have explained here. How to decide which to use. The WhatWG specification wants readers that the section element is not a generic container element. HTML already has the div element for such uses. When an element is needed only for styling purposes or as a convenience for scripting, it makes sense to use the div element instead. Okay, if you want in terms of styling, then you go for div element. If you want in terms of structure, then you go for section element. Another way to help you decide whether or not to use the section element is to ask yourself if it is appropriate for the element's contents to be listed explicitly in the document's outline. Okay, so a particular document is there and that document you want to indicate it as a separate section. So it is left to you as to whether you want that section to be highlighted, then you make that portion of a document to be highlighted, then you make use of the section element. Otherwise you want some styling for that part of the document, then you go for div element. If so, then use the section, otherwise you use div. So you have an option, you can use section also, you can use div also. Section in terms of structure, div in terms of styling. Then next you have is the figure and the figure captions. Okay, so two elements is there, figure element and then you have the figure caption element. So previously whenever we had any images in our document, we would make use of the image element and we could put it wherever we want. So what this figure element does is, in this figure element you can put those image elements. Okay, so separate section for images only. And figure caption means below that figure if you want to have some captions, then those all text and all can come under caption element. Okay, the W3C recommendation indicates that the figure element can be used not just for images but for any type of essential content that could be moved to a different location in the page or document and the rest of the document would still make sense. Okay, so if you want to move a particular part of a document to some other place, then you can put that in the figure element, they are saying, apart from images. Okay, the figure element should not be used to wrap every image. Okay, the figure element should not be used to wrap every image. That means you have 10 images in a document, means it does not mean that all the 10 images should be put in a figure element. For instance, it makes no sense to wrap the site logo or non-essential images such as banner ads and graphical embellishments within the figure elements. So different types of images you need not put all dump them into one figure element. Instead, only use the figure element for circumstances where the image or other content has a caption and where the figure is essentially to the content but its position on the page is relatively unimportant. That means a particular image is there and a particular content is there. So that one image or two images and its content you can put it in the figure element. Okay, so that you can move that image wherever you want and its position is not so important in that document. Okay, here is an example, figure and figure caption is there. Okay, so what all is there here? Paragraph P is there. This photo was taken on October 22, 2011 with the Canon. So paragraph is being given here. So you can see here in the output, first paragraph is there in the output here. Okay, and then they have made use of a figure element. Inside that figure element you have a image and source is there, then image path is there, then alternative text alt is there saying Central Park, and for that same figure you have a figure caption here. Okay, figure caption, conservatory pond in Central Park, then they have closed the figure element. Okay, so what all is that figure consisting of? Just a image element and a figure caption element. Figure caption element is nothing but below that figure what caption you are writing. Okay, so you can see here Central Park image is there. Okay, Central Park image, and below that the caption is there. Okay, caption here put is a conservatory park pond in Central Park. Okay, so that caption is below here, below in the diagram. Then after that they have made use of a paragraph. In that paragraph they have written, it was a wonderfully beautifully autumn Sunday with strong sunlight and expressive clouds. So this is a paragraph here. Okay, so here what they're saying is figure could be moved to a different location in a document. Okay, but it has to exist in the document. That is, the figure isn't optional. This element which is there, you can move it anywhere you want. Okay, you can move it here or you can move it here. You can move that entire figure element, but it is not that it is optional. It should be there in the document, but only its location is optional. Okay, location is wherever you want to move it, but it is not that if you don't put that figure element it's okay, nothing like that. It should be there in the document, but its position is irrelevant. The next element we have is the aside element. Aside element are the elements which are not so important in a particular document, such as advertising text or advertising images or anything unrelated things, not so important. Those content you can put it in the aside element. The aside element is similar to the figure element in that it is used for marking up content that is separate from the main content on the page. Okay, so it is separate from the main content on the page. It is not related to any document of that page. But while the figure element was used to indicate important information whose location on the page is somewhat unimportant, the aside element represents a section of a page that consists of content that is tangentially related to the content around the aside element. Okay, whereas figure element contained important information, but its position or location in that page was not important. But aside element is the one which will have not so important content within them. Okay, they'll have some uh, data related to the other elements. Okay, related to the other elements they'll have, they might have data related to the logo or data related to the advertising images or any extra information which you'll find getting at the left or the right side of your particular web page, which will pop up. Okay, like an advertisement images whenever you're seeing any website. Okay, they might have any information related to some other websites or to some other related to other web pages. Okay, so that time you can make use of the aside element. The aside element could thus be used for sidebars, pull quotes, groups of advertising images, or any other grouping of non-essential elements. So non-essential elements you can put them in the aside element here, and as the name suggests, the aside element will consist of unrelated content in those element. Here you can see an example for XHTML versus HTML5 here. I'll just zoom this up. Okay, so XHTML consists of very fewer elements here, very traditional elements, and then instead of using those traditional elements you can make use of the HTML5 elements. So HTML5 elements are supported in most of these systems, and here we have here XHTML versus HTML5. Okay, so a very sample example is here. It has started with the body element, then they have made use of divisions are there in XHTML. They have made use of the divisions. So instead of using div id header, you can make use of the header element, and here you have logo headings and all. Instead of putting different headings, you can go for H group, and here you have navigation, top navigation, left navigation, right navigation. So instead of using those, you can make use of a nav element, and then here you have div class content, then you have div class story. So instead of using those content, you can make use of section element, and instead of story and story photo, here you can make use of the article element. So inside the section element, which element is embedded? Article element is embedded. Then you have here image, and under that you have a photo caption. So instead of having a separate image, you can embed it in figure element, and instead of having a photo caption you can have a figure caption element. Then related stuff on the right or some related stuff on the left, like that. Any advertising content is there, that you can put it in the aside element. Okay, then at the below you have here div id footer. So instead of using div id footer you can make use of the footer element here. So which all alternate elements are there that you can use it at the side. Then you have the headings, and instead of using the headings we are making use of the header element, and we are making use of h group. Then you have here the nav elements, which will be h group will be having a list of h1s here, and the nav element will be having a list of links which you can go to different pages of that website. Then you have the section element here, and inside that section element you have the article element. Then you have the figure element, figure caption element. Okay, and then the section element is there. Okay, and then lastly you have the footer element. Okay, so html5 gives us many different types of elements which are used for those particular purpose. Okay, so if you know those elements and for what they are used for, then you can use them to make an efficient website or web pages. So this was about xhtml versus html5, and it shows how efficient it will be to make use best use of the html5 elements.